I would say, involved in these team fights. It didn't feel like Flash found their footing. And in this game, Archives, they have all the tools in the world to counter this 1-1 from popping off.
You know what? You bring up some really good arguments here, right? I feel like a lot of this game is going to be on the shoulders of Jay. First Little Wanderer going to fall into the hands of Archives Esports. They're not losing out too much, but Vex, he's got to make sure he's applying a lot of pressure in this lane. Kyrie walking up.
Oh!
Lacey getting some good shots in, but Shocker, he's got to be very careful, right? Because again, he's essentially playing without a support, and we find the solo kill after a continuous punishment from long range. Kyrie looking for an opportunity to turn this around, finds a kill for himself, and now backs away. Nicely done. At least they trade 1-for-1, but very, very sad for Vex.
Yeah, 1-for-1 trade there, and it looks like they are looking for more here.
Kyrie
no way.
Die. He shouldn't die. Vex is about to hit back into lane. Lacency is making it annoying, and that's how you really abuse the range, right? You're shooting from angles that are past terrain to not give your opponent time to react.
And that's what we expected, honestly, from Team Flash in that previous game, right? Because, honestly, I love their drafts. I think I kept talking about it over and over, and this time around, it feels like Archives, they're showing them how it's done. They're rotating first on this objective as well, setting it up. They have to be careful. However, Jay has not hit level 4.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Jay hasn't hit level 4. Shocker just hit his level 4. They're not going to be able to make it in time. However, something's happening on the bottom side. It looks like Arlet's kind of in the middle of that fight. Fighting into the middle of the real world manipulation and nearly winning out that 2v1. He ends up dying regardless, but at least with KZen, he's nearby, notices that Vex is able to top up his health back up to 50%. Mid lane gets shoved out, and then we look back to the engagement back on top. Beatrix just getting pummeled here. Crossbow of Tang coming out, gonna force a recall.
Simply put, you can say that he bought a lot of time for his team, right? But Jay goes in. Oh, he gets it. Oh,
he gets the kick, but doesn't take the second part of it, and now he's gonna die for this. He's still gonna make the attempt. He at least gets the kill on the Beatrix, but finally the trade comes over from Lacey. What I don't know how to feel about this. Right?
Yeah, that was unfortunate. That was unfortunate. But like you mentioned, at least Sumpak gets a little bit more punished than before, and I think that is going to be the key factor of how Team Flash is going to be able to win this game, right? That 1-1 and that Beatrix matchup is already really tricky. Honestly, great. Sumpak's getting pressured, gets a kill onto Sumpak as well. We just need more time for West Mode to come back online.
Yep. Going to need a little bit of time in that case. And mid lane, so very important. Bottom side, noticing that the jungle is still pathing towards it, right? Making sure that this Arlet doesn't get too far ahead. But now that they're aware, the late rotation from the jungler on towards that top side. 36 more seconds until we see the Lord. A play could be made by Jay, but it doesn't seem like he finds the angles just yet.
Well, what's happening in the gold lane?
Right? I mean,
oh,
they're hitting back. They're hitting
force a
back
recall.
Hard. 1-1's not going to be able to make it in time, right? Corrosive Scythe already purchased, forcing a recall almost straight away, and then once again, mid lane being controlled. Like, it feels like Sumpak didn't get punished.
No, it didn't.
He came back and he's like, no, now it's your turn to go back
He's super
home.
close to BOD as well, right? Yes. Already. So now, 6 seconds, 7 seconds left on the timers. And it looks like both KZen and Kyrie are on the same level. They do have equal chance. It really depends on how they are going to set up for this.
Notice on the bottom side, the 1v1 has already began between the Wanwan as well as the Arlet. In the meantime, this dance is happening. Crossbow of Tang is out. Lord JM is alive, so he gets to hold on a little bit longer. Team Flash is able to secure the Lord as the kick comes on through onto Spider Miles. He's trapped, can't get out. He's going to try his best, but at the end of the day, Team Flash walk away with at least a kill and a turtle in hand.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. It's no longer them just dancing into the tempo of Archives. They're really just setting themselves up for success. But meanwhile, Westmont! Oh my god, 1-for-1 there in the bottom lane. And that's a trade. Who was it worth it for?
It's worth it for nobody, to be fair. Nobody really wins out. Well, technically, it's a little bit more worth it for Archives because at least Beatrix gets to walk in for a free lane, you know, completely free. It's fresh. You have a wave to work with. Meg's on the top side with Jay. We'll try to take down that tier 1 while Spider Miles basically has to give that up. But man, oh man, had that final slash connected earlier. Lord James is probably like thinking to himself, man, it's one of those days, huh?
He's seething. He's seething at this point, right? And looking at this, right, back to their economy, it's still quite equal. Very different to game number 1. Team Flash, I think they're a little bit more comfortable with this particular draft. And it's interesting that the analysts also brought that up, right? So you can see exactly the impact that it has on the game. They're actually leading quite a bit. And, you know, they're pushing the momentum. They're getting more objectives on the board. And let's take a look at the items here. Beatrix is a little bit far off. Close, very close to that BOD, to that item power spike.
Yeah, I'm just surprised that they decided to actually try to go for the tier 2 boots rather than just hold it off, look to rush that first item, and then eventually go for the tier 2. So interesting choice here. This could be the result of getting dove under within the 3rd minute of the game. Maybe that has something to do with it, but we'll leave it to the analysts to break that down for y'all. So now we see the engagement moving down towards that bottom side. I mean, looking at the map pressure, right, it just feels like Team Flash is sticking closer together while Archives is making sure that 2 and 3. Spider Miles gets kicked under it. The real world manipulation stops Lacency from getting out, but Spider Miles is left isolated. Even the Numenon Blast getting canceled by the 3rd hit of G Kundo. Lord JM able to dance his way out, but isn't able to secure the kill onto Jay. That means we are expecting to see nothing else. Oh, another flicker being utilized, and as well as the Astral's Field connecting. Now Archives has the advantage, and Kyrie cannot just walk up like this. Phantom Execution is going to be more than enough to put him out of his misery, and now Archives, they're just farming Team Flash. Who's next? Who wants to come in isolated? We don't have resources, but we've got the damage.
Yeah, it's beautiful how they tailored that, right? Because, you know, looking at it in a general sense, oh, Jam!
He finds it again, final slash, now looking to get on top of West Mode. He's trying his best. He has the crossbow of Tang, and Lord JM decides to disengage. Oh, Lord J tries his own to go for a kick, but doesn't make it through. Numenon Blast is going to slow down the RWM at the very least, but it still is able to pump out that damage. Sumbak, he's trying his best, forced to flicker away. Vegs is still alive, and Spider Miles still trying to survive. He walks off just in time, and now, finally, once the dust has settled, Lacency and KZen will live, and they at least get a tier 1 on the top side of the map.
Archives are orchestrating these things really beautifully, right? Because if we just take it back into that previous team fight, they were at a disadvantage. They lost Spider Miles. They didn't have that proper initiation. All they could rely on was Lord JM with the final slash. And they still were able to win it out in a long, drawn execution of that team fight. Fast forward into the previous skirmish in that mid lane, I feel like Team Flash's Archive's biggest hurdle from the Team Flash is Shocker with the real-world manipulation. It doesn't feel like Spider Miles is getting the proper setup because of that slow, because of that DOT damage as well, and hence, it's a lot more difficult for them this time. But because Sumpak was able to get that item power spike, that BOD mid-team fight, you can feel that the damage was just a saving grace for them in that skirmish.
Yeah, it almost felt like the tables were turning ever so slightly. I think Jay as well as Shocker are a lot more warmed up this time around. Like, Jay is canceling out Numenon Blast, is making sure that the charges don't connect as nicely. Even the Guardian's Bulwark sometimes doesn't feel like it's in the right position. And so far, that's great for Team Flash, but Archives, they're looking to bounce back, and with the lead that Sumpak has developed for himself, very slight, 1.5k, now dropping to 1.4. All they need is to wait for the next objective, right? Make sure that mid-tier 1 still lives.
6 seconds. 6 seconds for the next objective, right? And this is when things get a lot more interesting. Shocker has been a huge impact in these team fights, just got the Ice Queen wand, so a lot more utility coming in from that real-world manipulation that should help them in their next 5v5 team fight, where I feel like Team Flash has an edge.
Yep, and let's see whether or not that edge is going to make a difference. Top side pushed out by Lord JM as he walks up. G Kundo, it looks good, but the angle isn't there. They're also popping the RWM. Lord JM just walks away. 2 big ultimates already down. Vex is by himself. He might need to start using the split very early, but it looks like Lord JM is going to lock him in place. Final slash as well. Numenon Blast coming up for Spider Miles. Forward, hits 3, and now they're chasing them down 1 by 1. Kaysen secures the Lord, and now starts backing off Vegs by himself. Sumpak, this is all you. You're going to take him out as the mid lane gets shoved away, and the rest of Archives is just going to chase down Vegs.
Oh, that's unfortunate. You know, I said that their resources are going to be important. Unfortunately, they were forced to utilize it a lot earlier on, even before that team fight begun, even before the contestation of the Lord. Archives knew that. They went and hit on the gas, and they were able to win that team fight. Very, very unfortunate here for Team Flash. And one of the other things that I noticed is the disparity of level between KZen as well as Kyrie. 14 to 12. So even if Team Flash had the better setup, Kaizen on the Lancelot with a little bit more mobility to go in and do that 50-50. It's no longer 50-50. It's a 75-25 with that goal, with that EXP lead that he has.
You're absolutely right with that. And it just proceeds to show that Archives have learned so much from the MDL. Even though they were very, very close to qualifying, you can see that the team has kind of gotten to a level of polish, taking on a team like Team Flash and making them really sweat here. Ooh, shocker. Nearly taking that damage, but Westmo losing at least 60% of his health from Render's apathy. Probably don't want to get hit by that skill shot and once more.
It's going in. They're going in. They're collapsing onto Jay. They are playing the map so perfectly, and you can see this. Oh, Kyrie?
He should be fine, right? He's tanking the damage. He's taunted too. Now he gets pulled back by the final slash. It's looking a little sketchy now as they slowly back away. It still shocks me how Lacency still does so much damage on this Novario.
Yeah, coming back to that point, right, earlier before that actually begun, is the fact that Archives Esports, they're very, very intelligent at playing the map, but now Jay once again getting caught, almost taken down by that shot. Luckily, he's still able to get away, but they realize that Team Flash, they like to rotate S5. Archives Esports with the Lancelot, with Lord JM, who has a lot more going for them in terms of mobility, have been able to split across the map, take those outer turrets, and you can see the difference, right? 6-1 in terms of towers.
I think the big thing that Archive Esports is that's really making it easy for them to actually sit around this Lord is the fact that they posture themselves in a particular way. Even though that they're down a man, right? Team Flash need to recognize that, yes, a 5v4 is an ideal situation, but Lord JM is making sure that he does his housekeeping, making sure the outer lanes are extremely clean. And now, coming back to Team Flash, we're seeing them hitting their power spikes. We're seeing them actually starting to get really confident, especially Westmo, who's flagging down the rest of his team. I'm big, I'm huge, put me in there, coach.
Yeah, we'll see how this pans out, right? Because even if they want to go for an engage with Westwood, they need to be aware of Spider Miles on the Lolita. Natural counter, a lot more difficult for Westmo to have the space that is intended for him. And now, once again, the Lord Dance. It's very interesting to see what happens here. Archives with a 5,000 gold lead. They should be a lot more fed. Oh, wait, Jay goes in.
It looks good. The RWM onto Spider Mouse. They need to get rid of this engagement tool. Final Slash pushes Vex underneath the turn, but he flickers all the way out. So Buck might actually die. Pops the Winds of Nature just in time, so the crossbow of Tang doesn't kill him. And now Render's apathy doesn't connect on anyone, but it's Lord JM and as well as KZ all by himself. Lacency finds one. Lord JM flickers out of the Appraiser's round. Final Slash into Jay. And it's going to be KZ who finds one, looks for a second as Vex chase down Lord GM. Holy cow, this EXP later is designed to make plays.
Man, he has been popping off from Game 1 and Game 2. Don't give him the Arlet. It's a hero that he's comfortable with, the impact that he has in these team fights as he goes in again.
He's trying to buy time. Danny, I'm about to bust here as Kyrie is able to walk away as the RWM is trying to slow him down. Vegs as well as Shocker still making enough space just in time. Lacency, one more shot. Come on, let's see it. It's not going to connect onto West mode, but Vegs at the very least is going to be able to block it. Look, again, another great take. Lord JM willing to sacrifice his life for it.
Yeah, and no problem whatsoever, right? Because at the end, that was already a 2-for-1 trade. Archives Esports also gets the Lord. So losing Lord JM in the process with a countdown timer still in cohesion with the timing that they've set up, it's fine. It's fine. And you gotta say that the honorable mention also goes to KZen. He noticed that Sumpak wasn't able to have an impact in the game because he got caught really low, forcing him to go for whoa.
They find the way, the dragon so far, the Numenor Blast. Oh, ends up, wait, he ends up gets canceled out. Oh my goodness, it's not good, Jay. He ends up dying still. Team Flash, they have to pull away, even though all of the pieces were there. Archives just have too much of a lead right now. They are 7K ahead. The numbers are not in Team Flash's favor.
4v5 situation here. The Lord marching down in the bottom side. Does Team Flash have what it takes to be able to defend this against 5-man of Archives? As, oh my god, Lord JM, he's gonna go in again.
He's gonna do it. He's gonna do it. Show it to me. Show that EXP laner spirit. Now they're going. They've already lost 2 inhibitor. All their inhibitor turrets are down. RWN is going to come down as Vegs ends up dying. And regardless, But still, it's all about clearing this wave here. The second wave is about to crash. This Lord, it's going down very, very slowly.
Oh my God!
Lord JM with the final slash carry. Tries to go with the Embrace's Rest to get a trade backwards. Perfect dive. Lord JM tanks the turret, and Supai able to just go crazy with it to end this game. Archive Esports.